Having confidence is everything. It's scientifically proven that if you're confident in what you wear and how you present yourself, you're more likely to be successful in job interviews, you're perceived as more trustworthy and competent, and it's a lot easier to make friends. According to a study, 86% of people say that their clothing choices directly impact how confident they feel, and that matters a lot more than you realize. And yet, through all of your schooling and all of your study, the importance of finding your personal style and being confident in that has never really been talked about. People form their first impression of you in a split second, before you've said anything, before they know anything about you. And that millisecond of judgment is happening constantly, and your outfit and your clothing is the biggest influence of that. And I know that might sound shallow, but this isn't about impressing anyone, it's about alignment. Your inside is your values, your identity, the person that you're trying to grow into. And the outside is what the world sees before you even say anything. And when those two things match, confidence stops being this thing you need to actively think about. But when they don't, when you know who you are, but your wardrobe doesn't reflect that, your brain registers it. It feels that friction and discomfort, and it's costing you a lot more than you realize. But the best part is, anyone can learn to be confident, and psychology proves that. So let's get into it. So you probably experienced putting on an outfit that technically should work, but you just don't feel very good in it. Something feels off and you don't know why. Well, there's a psychology concept that explains why that happens, and it's called cognitive dissonance. And it's basically the discomfort your brain feels when two things you believe about yourself are pulling in opposite directions. So if you think of yourself as this confident, capable person, but your wardrobe doesn't reflect that, like wearing the things that feel disconnected to who you actually are, your brain feels it. And that gap creates this friction, and that uncomfortable feeling really impacts how you carry yourself. But what's super interesting and actually amazing is that it works in the exact opposite way too. So you can use your clothes to pull you into that confident person that you want to be. So if you put on something that's this more confident version of you, like a structured blazer or a heeled boot, your brain then starts to believe what those pieces resemble, which is confidence. And that is why doing this work and investing in your wardrobe has such a profound impact on your life. If you've watched any of my other videos, I constantly refer to the psychology theory called Enclothed Cognition, which basically explains how the clothes you wear impact how you think and feel and behave. And in the study, people who wore the white lab coat associated it with intelligence and performance, and performed a lot better on all the cognitive tasks compared to the people that weren't wearing it. So the clothing itself shifted their mindset, and that is something you can use and apply to everything that you wear. So it's really two things working together. The meaning that you place on a piece of clothing and the experience of actually wearing it changes how you think, feel, and how other people perceive you. So how can we use this research to help you find your personal style and show up as a more confident person? To do this, we have to understand why your wardrobe feels disconnected from who you are. And I think what the real issue here is that we are building our wardrobes from the outside in. And what I mean by that is that we're finding our personal style from Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, what looks good on other people, and then wondering why we don't have personal style. And when your style comes completely from the outside, you haven't influenced it and it doesn't represent who you are. There's a psychology theory called self-determination that tells us we feel more like ourselves when we wear what is driven from us, not by what other people are doing. Style that's, I guess, borrowed from an influencer or a model rather than built off your own values and your own references will always feel slightly off. And I want to be clear here that trends and inspiration and Pinterest and Instagram, TikTok, they all have their place. Evolution of style has always come from people before us, and I definitely agree and believe in that. But the foundation really needs to come from you, and most people skip that step because they just don't know where to look or where to start. So this is where I want to bring in something that I think about a lot when finding your style. One of my favorite books, The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, he calls it the source, and it's this idea that creativity isn't forced and it comes from the world around you, and letting what resonates come back to you as something as yours. And I honestly think finding your personal style works in the exact same way. You might notice that people whose style feels most interesting are usually not the most fashionable. They just know what they like. Outside of fashion, they know who they are. From the music they listen to, the places they've traveled, the things that they care about. And all of that accumulates into style, and they know what they love and why. And so their clothing is just this expression of how they see the world. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about a friend of mine who grew up in a really small town. He was a skater, he was a tradie. He's one of those people that would just wear like the same thing every day, just Carhartt, probably a dark color, very plain. He moved to Berlin for a couple of years and his style and clothing just completely changed. And that was basically because his whole world changed. He was in a completely new environment, new people, new subcultures. And from someone who would just wear like stubbies and a black hoodie, he started wearing these big, structured, oversized blazer suit. He would wear leather jackets and bold colors. It was mental. And the confidence he now has from really honing in on this style that's just completely uniquely his is amazing. And something else I think about a lot is how you spend your time really shapes how you dress. Because that question of what is my style is actually who am I? And that answer is completely shaped by how you live your life. What are you interested in? What do you expose yourself to? If you go to the same job every day, you see the same people, you eat the same thing, you consume the same stuff every day, those are your references. And you can't build the strong, interesting sense of style if you have this really narrow view of the world. So the honest question to ask yourself is, how are you spending your time? If you're doing the same things every day, how do you expect yourself to evolve and your style to evolve? And how do you expect your wardrobe to reflect someone interesting if all of your inputs are the same? So if you don't want to dress like everyone else and you want more interesting style, you need to live a more interesting life. So I encourage you to try something new, talk to new people, someone with a new perspective, go a different route to work, and then pay attention to what resonates with you. What style do you like, do you dislike? And those are going to be the inputs for finding your personal style. So this brings me to something that I think is genuinely extremely underrated when it comes to building a wardrobe that makes you feel confident and having style that's uniquely yours. And it's investing a relationship with the things that you own. And what I mean by that is, think about a time that you bought something on impulse, maybe it was on sale, maybe you saw it on an influencer. Chances are you probably aren't very emotionally attached to that piece. You might not have worn it in a while, you might even regret buying it. And I'm not perfect, I definitely have those pieces as well. But now think about a piece that you absolutely love, that you cherish. Chances are you probably thought about it for a while, you probably saved up, you might have gone to the store and tried it on, really felt good. You made this relationship with the piece before you even bought it. And that changes everything about how you wear it. So if you think about your life and things that you really value, like a camera or a book, I have this beautiful coffee machine that I have on my bench and I use every single day. I thought about it for months before I bought it. I researched it. I went to the store and touched it. I saved up for it. And then every morning it reinforces the type of person and the life I want to live. And that's a considered, slow, meaningful, quality over quantity life. And it feels like this part of who I am. And that is what the right pieces in your wardrobe do. It's definitely not just about cost. It's about whether you've really thought about the investment and bringing it into your space, and whether it carries meaning or it reflects something about who you are or who you're wanting to become. Okay, so what does this actually look like for you starting tomorrow? Next time you're getting dressed, whether it's going to a job interview or meeting with friends or just trying to dress for the best version of yourself, or maybe just a time where how you feel about yourself really matters, don't just ask, does this look good? You need to be asking, does this feel like me? And if most of your wardrobe feels off, the answer isn't just to go shopping, it's to get clearer on who you are and what you actually love. Personal style isn't just about how you look, it's about self-trust, and that is where you find real confidence. So if I were to distill everything down into a framework, and I always love doing that for you guys so you can actually take this away and do it at home, it's source, self, style. So your source is everything you take in. Your experiences, references, things you're curious about, the subcultures, the people and places that really resonate with you. Yourself is what you make of all of that. Your values, your identity, who you really are. And your style is the expression of all of those things combined. And most people start with style and work backwards. And they're trying to figure out how to dress before they figure out who they are. And that's why everything feels a little bit disconnected. So I hope this is a really great starting point to finding your confidence in your personal style. If you found this useful, the next video I'm recording is going to be all about how to find your source. and how to find your style references, where to look, and actually build out a wardrobe that really reflects who you are. Personal style is definitely something that is just constantly evolving around how your life changes, how your personality changes, and there's so many frameworks and techniques that we can use to really help you find your personal style at your own pace. So if you found this useful, I would definitely subscribe so that you can get all of my future videos. This is something that I believe that if you really invest in can really change your life. The studies prove it, the psychology proves it, and it's a topic I feel so incredibly passionate about. So keep an eye out for the next video, and thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear if anything resonated with you.